If you saw me working, you wouldn't be able to distinguish me from most written journalists, I studied journalism and I thought I would be writing for a newspaper. I wanted to do hard news and maybe be a foreign correspondent in my dreams. But that didn't really work out. I never got a good journalism job, and I fell back on cartooning, which was something I'd been doing since I was a child, but never thought of in terms of a career. And it very organically developed that as my work in comics began to grow, I began drifting towards journalism, which is what I studied. And so those things just came together without me coming up with some big theory about it. I'm a great admirer of classic journalism, but with drawings you can take a reader back into the past. You can take a reader into a place where a camera cannot go or will never be allowed to go. Drawings have a very visceral effect on readers, I think, and they help readers see the organic connection to the people that the stories are about. When I'm in the field, I behave much like a traditional journalist in that I'm taking notes, recording conversations, and taking photographs for reference. I seldom sketch. Generally, if you saw me working, you wouldn't be able to distinguish me from most writing journalists. I wanted to tell a story about the climate and the changing of the climate, and I thought it would be interesting to look at resource extraction. And where does that happen? It happens on the peripheries of the world, of the metropoles, and the Dene are people who are affected by resource extraction. So I thought I'd start out telling an Indigenous story. The Indigenous people of Canada were taken to residential schools where they were taken far from their parents and far from the land on which they lived. And the whole purpose and idea of that was to separate them from their land and their culture, to make them speak English, in some cases French, and to forget their own identities. So I'd say you could very much call that a cultural genocide. Well, to me, the term graphic novel is somewhat of a marketing tool. I think it's to make adults feel like they're not reading a comic book. But to me, they're comic books, and I grew up with the term. It's really what you're comfortable with. But to me, also I think that battle has been won by those who use the term graphic novel, and so I accept my defeat, and they're graphic novels. The whole Donald Trump phenomena is something we're all talking about all the time. And my problem with jumping on the bandwagon and doing comics specifically about Donald Trump is it just feeds the spectacle. I feel we're living in a spectacle, and a spectacle needs spectators. And I would rather not sort of help the spectators keep watching this theater going on before their eyes. I'd rather look a bit more deeply into what's going on in America. It's pretty much my favorite subject.